Wow. It is happening. James Harden is in. Darius Garland is out. A lot of mixed emotions, and I see a lot of mixed emotions all around Cleveland right now, trying to digest this. I'm going to try to help you. Let's get through it together. I'm Paul Williams. This is Cavs Daily, and man, I for sure wasn't expecting to have this type of conversation as we approach the trade deadline. I knew that moves were possible, a shakeup was possible, especially how this season has been so up and down. But we were playing so well lately. But if you think about that, we were playing so well lately, and the majority of that play was without Darius Garland. He is now on his way to the Los Angeles Clippers as the Cavs and Clippers have completed the James Harden, Darius Garland swap. The Cavs are also adding a second-round pick into the deal. I see a lot of people up in arms over that second-round pick. Guys, we got to chill out. Like, I get it. Especially, I have to stop reading certain forums and Reddit because I know a lot of that is not people that really follow and understand the NBA, watch the games, know the insides and outs. I know it seems like second-round picks, or you've read second-round picks are so valuable now because of the CBA, blah, blah, blah. It's still a second-round pick, man. We can still go out and buy an extra second-round pick if we really want one that bad. So that's not going to be the deciding factor on if this was a good deal or not. We got to just look at the basketball reasons, the financial reasons, and what the future may hold for both of these franchises. In the end, it's tough to see our longest tenured player, the guy that started this new group, this reinvented Cavs team after LeBron left. We drafted Darius Garland in 2019. Loved him at Vanderbilt. Loved what he brought to the city since the moment he touched in. Let's not forget, though, it wasn't always pretty with Darius. His rookie year, every vet on the team had problems with him for some reason. Took him a little while to acclimate to the NBA game. But that 21 season when we had Seti and we had Ricky Rubio, J.A., Rookie Mobley, it was a special team. And that Darius Garland, I mean, it's always going to be a special part of Cavs fans and Cavs history. And Darius is always going to be a Cavs legend, man. Just because he's no longer donning, well, he hasn't been wearing any uniform very much, if we're being honest, but he will no longer be wearing the wine and gold. I wish him the best of luck in LA. I do think he can still recoup a lot of the value and a lot of the shine that he's lost over the past year or so. But, I mean, he's a 6'1" guard that is undersized, underweight, never bulked up like Kobe Altman has been begging him to for years. And he's never figured out a way to be able to bring anything defensively or be passable defensively. And it's not really his fault. Even when he's trying his hardest, he just can't do much against teams hunting him when he has the physical attributes that he has. Offensively, he has such a beautiful game to watch. I think he's, outside of Kyrie Irving, maybe one of the most artistic, like pure dribblers of the basketball and finishers at the rim. He's a fun player to watch, and he's been great for the Cavs. But, guys, if we're talking about the immediate future, the Cavs got a lot better, period, point blank. There's no doubt about that. This is a win for the Cavs. Like, it's going to be tough to... I'm sorry, I've just had a loss of words with all this, but it's going to be tough to come to terms with the fact that Darius is no longer a Cav. But I think once we see James Harden in a Cavs uniform actually playing, and a lot of people that have just heard and seen the memes about James Harden, they actually get to watch him play. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. Darius Garland was a net negative player this season. Out of the entire Cavs roster, had the worst plus minus. He was a negative 3 points per 100 possessions when on the court, which was the worst on the team. And he didn't look like himself at all this year. I understand he was coming back from a bunch of different injuries, but how do we know he's going to be fully healthy next month or in April or in the playoffs or even next year? Undersized guards with injury issues are really devalued in this league, and this is just another example of that. Look at the Trae Young trade. Washington got him for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum. Like, yeah, James Harden is 36 years old, but right now, today, at this very moment, 36-year-old James Harden is a better basketball player than Darius Garland. That's just the facts of the situation. James Harden is 6'5" and very bulky. He could guard power forwards and post players. He actually guards them pretty well for some reason. He's not going to get hunted as much defensively. And if he's putting in the effort, he can be a somewhat solid defender, and he's for sure going to bring a dynamic to the backcourt on the defensive end that the Cavs just couldn't provide with Darius and Donovan. You couldn't hide them both. Now you won't have to. I think that side of the ball, it's going to be such a difference with those two. And then, guys, James Harden is one of the most gifted offensive players the NBA has ever seen. He's not well liked. He's nonchalant. He'll make goofy mistakes. But when he's locked in, there's not many players that are better than James Harden. What he has shown over the past 5 years, especially ever since he's went to Brooklyn, he can also coexist with other stars and other ball-dominant players. I mean, at this point in his career, and honestly for, again, the past 5 years, it's been pretty obvious James Harden doesn't want to be the whole offense. He doesn't want to have 30-plus usage rates and average 30 a game. He'd rather facilitate. I mean, when he went to Brooklyn, he was happily averaging 10-plus, almost 11 assists while scoring 20 points still, leading the league in assists. Same in Philly. Like, he is a superb, elite facilitator. He's an elite passer. What he's going to bring to Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, you guys don't even understand. He's going to unlock those two in ways you can't imagine, in ways Darius Garland just couldn't do. The pick and roll between either of those and James Harden is going to be a thing of beauty, and we've been relying far too heavily on Donovan Mitchell this year to both facilitate and score the ball. Now he doesn't have to do that. We don't have to play him 34 minutes per game and expect him to create 60% of the offense for this team. He can have off nights. He can sit games and know that this offense is still going to hum with James Harden at the helm. Harden is averaging over 25 points, over 8 assists, over 5 rebounds. That's another thing. He also rebounds the ball very well for a guard, which is a entirely different realm he's going to bring that Darius Garland couldn't bring. Just basketball-wise, I'm super duper excited about this because I do think James Harden is a great fit at that point guard spot back. And now having Dennis Schroeder backing him up, I mean, we went from an injured and gimpy Darius Garland with Lonzo Ball backing him up and Craig Porter in the mix to James freaking Harden, a first ballot Hall of Famer, with Dennis Schroeder backing him up and Craig Porter still in the mix. That's a dub, guys. That's a big, big victory for this Cavaliers team. And once we let the emotions of losing our guy, DG, the PG, once we let that go and we turn the page and just focus back on basketball, I think we're going to be very, very happy with the results. And James Harden is also super durable. Knock on wood, because Cleveland luck, you never know. But you can pretty much pencil him in for 72-plus games every season and being healthy in the playoffs. And those are huge attributes that you can't just make someone have. Like some players are built for the long haul of a regular season and then the playoffs, and some just aren't. And I think James Harden is one of those guys that can be relied upon to be on the court when you need him. Overall, we'll dig more into the grades and more into the specifics of this trade tomorrow and down the road. But just off first blush, it hurts, no doubt about it. I'm with you guys. I'm in my feelings about it as well. But guys, we have definitely gotten better, and we, no doubt about it, have much, much, much higher odds and a much better chance to win a championship today than we did 24 hours ago. And that's just not me saying that. Vegas agrees. The Cavs went from anywhere between plus 2,000, plus 2,500 odds to win the finals, all the way down to plus 1,100, plus 1,200. They were anywhere between 6th, 7th, 8th best odds to win the finals before this trade. They're now third behind only OKC and Denver, and they're right there neck and neck with Denver. Like, that should alone tell you how good this trade is for the Cavs, at least in the present, in the moment, in this NBA basketball season. And guys, with how the CBA is and how the NBA just as a whole operates now, there's not really 10-year windows with the same core anymore. You could keep a core somewhat together, but you're going to have to build around it and bring guys in and out and change things up every few years. That's just a part of the NBA today. So a shakeup was bound to happen, and I think, honestly, it's a great time for it because the East still is wide open. The Cavs still have a super high ceiling, and just like that, we went from the 4th or 5th favorite to win the East to the favorite to win the East off of just this trade alone. That should tell you all you need to know. Like, you can listen to me or anyone else babble about how they feel about the trade, why they like it, why they don't, why the Cavs will be better, why will be worse. Vegas doesn't lie. Vegas isn't going off of purely emotions. Yes, Vegas does try to predict what people are going to gravitate towards and how they're going to see a team's odds. But they also are realistic, and they're not going to up a team to the extent that the Cavs just jumped in the odds without it being a real basketball reason. Like, they know that the Cavs have gotten a ton better in the past 72 hours and are now serious threats to win the NBA Finals. And if the Cavs do even make it to the Finals, how could we be mad at this trade? Like, yeah, I guess we could say, well, it could have happened if we would have kept Darius too, but come on, guys. We saw the writing on the wall. We saw how things have turned out the last couple of years, and yeah, you can call it bad luck. We did have shitty health luck for sure. But at the end of the day, we just didn't get it done for many reasons. And while people will point out James Harden's playoff shortcomings, Darius Garland wasn't great in the playoffs either when he was available, which was only about 60% of the time anyway. And honestly, the James Harden playoff stuff, it's really based off of a few horrendous Game 7s that he's played. Like, I'm not going to try to give him a pass for that or make an excuse. He's played very, very bad in some huge elimination games, but he's also had historical performances in the playoffs, and he's also played very well in the playoffs overall. Just those games, for whatever reason, he did fall short. But he's 36 now. He knows he's not going to have many more opportunities to win an NBA championship. I just don't see how he's not motivated, focused, and locked in for this playoff run. And if he's back with the team next year, the same goes for that. So basketball-wise only, this is a dub for the Cavs, and our ceiling just expanded tremendously. Like, we went from a team that, yeah, we could, if we get a little lucky, we could still make some sort of run and maybe make the Eastern Conference Finals. have a chance to make it to the finals because of the state of the East, to now being the favorites to make it out of the East again. Like, we are restored as the team to beat in the Eastern Conference, and that's because James Harden is now in a Cavs uniform. We obviously are going to have to talk so much more about this move and about this trade, but I just wanted to get all that off for now, and we'll save the rest for future episodes. And now let's talk a little bit about some of our competitors around the Eastern Conference, because the Cavs weren't the only ones that made moves today. The Boston Celtics added Nikola Vucevic from the Chicago Bulls in a trade for Anthony Simons. That deal is going to help the Celtics, I think, more financially than it will on the court. I do think Vooch will be a good fit on the court for them as well. I don't want to say that he won't be. They've needed a center for a while since they lost Porzingis and Luke Cornett. So I don't hate the move for the Celtics at all, but I also don't think it pushes them above the Cavs or makes them any scarier than they were a couple days ago. Anthony Simons was actually playing pretty well for them, averaging over 14 points off the bench. And he played very well with both Derek White and Peyton Pritchard in that backcourt. And I think the Celtics are going to fill that loss. Like, if they don't find a replacement for him, they're losing a big scoring punch off the bench. And for that reason alone, I think this is kind of a move that doesn't make them better, doesn't make them worse, kind of just is what it is. Like, they change things up a little bit, but I don't think they improve that much. Vucevic is not a defensive center by any means. He's only 6'9". He's not a good rim protector. Opponents shoot in the upper 60s when he's defending the basket. What he can do, though, offensively, he can stretch the floor. He shoots over 4 3-pointers a game, makes them at a pretty solid clip. So he is going to help them in that regard. But overall, I don't think it pushes the Celtics to the top of the conference or anything like that. Solid move for the Celtics, but one I'm not really worried about. And then the Detroit Pistons also made a move today, trading Jaden Ivey for Kevin Huerter from the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls added 80 guards. We think we have a logjam in the guard position. Go check out the Bulls. They're like the Sacramento Kings of the East, which is fitting since they're like BFFs and all-time trade partners. But yeah, the Bulls made some puzzling additions. I mean, I get it. They're not worried about competing this year. But adding Anthony Simons, Jaden Ivey, and Mike Conley all today is pretty funny nonetheless. But the Bulls did send Huerter's. I never know if I'm saying that right. Kevin Huerter, to the Detroit Pistons. I do like Huerter. He's not the three-point shooter that he was 3 years ago on the Sacramento Kings when he shot 40% from three. He's dipped to around 36, 37%, which if he's shooting it at that clip, he's nowhere nearly as valuable as he would be if he was a 40% shooter from three. And I don't know. I feel like it's an L for the Pistons, honestly. Ivy was breaking out last season before he got injured on January 1st. He looked like he was going to be a star in the backcourt along with Cade Cunningham and a building block for years to come. He's still in his early 20s, so still has a lot of time to grow and improve. This was clearly a win-now trade by the Pistons, but I just don't think it moves the needle much, if at all. I think Ivy's upside as he continues to get healthy was worth more even this season alone to the Pistons than what they're going to get from Huerter. I'm sorry I'm tripping with that name so much, but either way, the Pistons did make that move today, and it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I think it actually is a bit of an indictment on Karis LeVert, who's been injured, but even before then hadn't been playing very well for the Pistons the last month or so. I feel like he's going to lose some minutes due to this trade. But in the big scheme of things, I don't think it really moves the needles for the Pistons, and it's not something that I'm really worried about as far as them being an opponent of ours in a playoff series. Like, I don't think Kevin's going to be the difference in them beating us or losing to us, especially now with James Harden aboard. The Pistons couldn't beat us in a playoff series. They weren't beating us even with Garland out there. Even if Garland was injured and the Cavs didn't make the Harden trade, the Pistons still weren't beating us in a 7-game series. They're for sure not now, and this move doesn't do anything to change that. And I honestly think they might regret it down the road if Ivy does realize even 70% of the potential that he has. And then finally, there was one other big trade in the NBA today. A little bit of a shocker, honestly. I did not expect the Utah Jazz to be a buyer in the way they were today, but the more you, I guess, peel back and look into it, it does make some sense. They do have some good pieces out there to build around. They're still not, I don't think, that close to contention yet, but the move they made today will help them slowly get to that point. At least that's the hope for them. They traded for Jaren Jackson from the Memphis Grizzlies today, giving up 3 first-round picks in an 8-team swap that saw a ton of names change teams. The Memphis Grizzlies got Walter Clayton Jr., the rookie out of Florida. They got Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, who was a first-round pick a couple years ago, and our old friend Georgie Niang, who's been injured all year and is more of just salary cap filler. They got those 4 guys on top of the 3 first-round picks while they sent out Jaren Jackson, John Kochner, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. All heading to the Utah Jazz in this shocking trade that I just did not see coming at all. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not the defensive player of the year caliber defender that he was 2-3 years ago. Still a solid defender, but just doesn't bring the same rim protection that he once did. I think a lot of that has to do with the offensive burden he's had to take on over the past couple years. And at like 30 mil, 35 mil, I think Jaren Jackson is a very, very useful player, but he's about to start a max extension that kicks in next year that'll pay him well over 50 mil a year. I don't think he's that type of player. And for those reasons, I do think the Grizzlies did the right thing getting off of him. Getting 3 first-round picks back adds to the stockpile that they started to really build up when they traded Desmond Bane in the offseason for 4 first-round picks. And yeah, the Grizzlies are clearly signaling rebuild. They now have, I think, 12 first-round picks over the next 7 seasons, up there with the Nets and the OKC Thunder. Now all that's left is, will they trade Ja Morant? I don't know, because I don't think they're going to get nearly the value they want out of him. So he might end up rotting there a little bit longer. But for now, they're clearly trying to tank, and they clearly want to get the highest draft pick they can get this season. So we probably won't see much more of Ja Morant. Old friend Ty Jerome did make his debut last week. He's played 2 games now this season. So I'm guessing he kind of has free reign when he's out there and is going to have a chance to average 18 points per game, because he's going to have unlimited usage and unlimited shot attempts as the Grizzlies look to take things in a new direction. And yeah, like I said, for Utah, it's interesting. I'd like to see what they do in the draft this year and if they do anything in the offseason. But they can be a sleeper team that can go from lottery into a possible playoff push in the next year or two. Keep an eye out for that. No other big trades happened so far. Still lots of rumors. Giannis still floating out there with rumors that the Warriors are willing to give up Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, every player they have besides Steph Curry, while the Timberwolves are also trying to make something happen. And I think the Timberwolves being a part of the 3-team deal with the Detroit Pistons and Bulls earlier today was a move that was trying to open up some space to make a Giannis deal happen. The Heat are also rumored to still be in it, trying to give a mix of players and picks. But I still think the Cavs are honestly right there in the thick of things too, especially with some of the flexibility we now have with the trades we've made over the past 3 or 4 days. Guys, could you imagine if we're able to pull something off for Giannis and we walk out of this trade deadline with Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, along with either Evan Mobley or Jared Allen in the post, because one of them obviously would be part of any Giannis deal. That would be insane, and we're now only one step away from making that happen. And you guys can say, oh, it's not going to happen, no way, blah, blah, blah. Were you saying we were going to get James Harden 2-3 days ago? Were you saying we were going to trade DeAndre Hunter for Schroeder and Ellis 5-6 days ago? No, you don't know what's going to happen, guys. Let's just face it. We don't know what's going to happen. Even I can say I have sources. We can use connections that some of us may have to get a little bit of intel, but none of us really know what's going on in those war rooms between GMs during this time of year. All we can do is guess. That's why I never try to talk in absolutes, but I do think the Cavs are still very much in on Giannis, and I still do think the Cavs have a move up their sleeve before this deadline is over. Either way, we're going to be talking about it in the days to come, and it's not going to stop. Even into the offseason, there's going to be ripple effects from the Harden trade today and whatever else happens at this deadline. Stick with Cavs Daily so you're always up to date with whatever is going on. Let me know how you feel about this James Harden deal. Am I tripping? Do you think the Cavs should stand pat now? Do you think the Cavs are better positioned to win a championship now? Let me know all that in the comments, and I will be back with another banger tomorrow. I need to get some sleep. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate you being here with me.